Hi and welcome to yet another episode of Mwalimu Kipepeo with me, Jasmine Wambui. I have received such an overwhelming amount of positive feedback on my first episode, which was titled How Did I Get Here? And I want to take this opportunity to thank each and every one of you because your support keeps me going. Today's episode is on a topic that is very dear to me and very close to my heart, and that is mental health. I am the founder of Bipolar Society of Kenya, a Facebook group that supports Kenyans living with bipolar disorder. This group has been in existence since 2015, and through it, I have learned a lot, and I have met people who are willing to help and also willing to get assistance in knowing how to deal with the disorder. So that's the little thing that I do to help my society improve their understanding on mental health. So what is your little thing? Let us know as you share this episode, and don't forget to drop a review. Today, I am joined by Dr. Susan Gitau, who is a lecturer at the African Nazarene University and a counseling psychologist who will engage us on COVID-19 and mental health. Daktari, karibu sana. We have been watching the news lately, and all we see is bad news in regards to the home or the family. And this narrows down to how the men are handling this pandemic. So just tell us, how has COVID-19 affected men and their mental health? How has it affected them? Is it something we should worry about? And how can they handle the situation before it gets out of hand?
Thank you, Jasmine, for giving me time. Actually, during this COVID-19 pandemic, I have observed men are suffering, and more of them are suffering in silence. Because the way, especially our African men are socialized, is that you have to man up. But you see what COVID-19 has brought is not anything a person can say is an issue of manning up, because it has brought a lot of complexity in terms of the way we navigate life in general. You find that if you are a man and you have lost your job, you have a pay cut, or you've been having issues in your life, in marriage or even personal life, these issues have been escalated during COVID-19 pandemic, when the social networks are cut off, and when maybe the misunderstandings and conflicts within the family circles are not having a good space or safe space to self-medicate. Like most men would go to bars, they would go hang out with the other men and probably come home late and wait for morning to leave and go to work. But right now, with restrictions on movement, restrictions on socializing time, the social distancing, you exactly know what I'm talking about. Most men have found themselves in a very tight corner. And so what you are seeing right now with the increasing cases of domestic violence is that men have not gotten an alternative. Women, we are blessed, we talk a lot. And based on our neurological makeup, the way our brain system works, we use as women more of the right side, the word side, the sense inside, the feeling inside. So we are not afraid to cry, we are not afraid to express how we are feeling. But for men, using the left side of the brain, most of the time the man wants to reason out an issue, to come up with a solution that is clear. But with COVID-19, there is no time to think like that. It is a crisis moment. Majority of people are traumatized. Majority of people are navigating loss and grief, and men are not exempt. They are also part of this. And it is also happening that most men probably who are working and their wives were engaged in businesses, or men were in business and the wives have been working. If you happen to be a man and you're now on the receiving side financially, I have seen lots of issues come to our counseling practice. where you find the women have started looking down upon men. I'm not saying all of them, some, and telling them they're not going to feed the children and feed the men also. And so a man, before he talks, because he's been socialized to hold it in, by the time he's really getting an outlet, it can be the wrong way. Because what COVID has done, it has made people think differently, such that if I'm a man and I had not known how to express myself, I had not accepted that I can cry, I had not accepted that I can seek out for help publicly, it gets to a level that it's so pressing, very pressing, that I get physical as a man. So you find if there are children, before the wife is reached, the children are the ones that receive the first probably bullet. We call this projection. So I have an issue with my wife, and what I will do, I'll project all my problems to her, and I can also project these issues to the children, thinking they are the ones who have brought this situation. But when it comes to violence, now the children become the first safest displacement objects, either verbal abuse, physical abuse, emotional abuse, just name it. And so we are having all these issues of children getting scared of their fathers in the house, children feeling like they detest their fathers, but they have no clue that their fathers are navigating a very stressful situation. And so at this time, my take would be just mean that we raise our voice higher and tell people mental health issues and concerns are real.
Oh, that's so true. Mental health issues are definitely real. So, with that said, how do we safeguard our mental health? How do we do that?
Mental health is one area that everybody needs to take care of. Why? Because when you are operating under very stressful situations like this one of COVID-19 pandemic, your brain must start firing the negative neurons, like I'm worthless, like such self-talks, I am not man enough, I am not acceptable, I am not a father enough, I am not worthy of living, because these are the messages and this is the experience with COVID-19 at this moment. And so if the brain gets used to such kind of negative self statements, there is no room for positive affirmations. Because right now, if a man would say, despite what COVID-19 pandemic has brought, I am still man enough, I am still a father, I would still want to be a loving husband, I would still want to provide for my children, I still have hope. Those positive self statements are very powerful to the brain. And that is why today, if immersed in these crisis situations, we talk about enhancing our neural connectivity. Because if I feed my brain with positive sentiments and self affirmation statements, I will start working towards that. Like when I say this moment is going to be over, very soon things are going to be better. There is an energy that works around and starts taking you to that level of achieving what you must achieve. So for me, I would say that men arise, don't be shy. We are all in this.
Before we go to your parting shot, Daktari, I'd like you to tell us about your little thing. What is it that you're doing in this society to help people understand how to deal with mental health?
Currently, as African Nazarene University, where I lecture and head the Department of Counseling Psychology, we are coming up with two powerful trainings on psychological first aid for teachers, so that our children can be safe in schools. Even parents are also welcome if they want to. And another program for everybody. It's a self-care tool, mindful self-compassion. accepting that the whole world is suffering, and so I cannot be the only one who is suffering. There are other people suffering in the world like me. So that connects us to our humanity. So it is common humanity to suffer during a pandemic. And then the next thing that one needs to tell themselves is, if the whole world is not kind, if other people around me don't understand me and accept me, I need to treat myself with loving kindness. So be kind to yourself no matter what happens, because the space you are in, you never called for it. And the minute you start turning that kindness towards yourself, your brain melts and your heart becomes bigger and very receptive, and so is your behavior, and your actions are those actions that will have an understanding, empathy, and very positive towards looking for a solution. And last but not least, this world needs compassion more than ever. And compassion simply means seeing suffering, noticing suffering, paying attention to that suffering, and doing something about that suffering. Meaning, I don't ignore I am stressed as a man. I don't ignore I am economically depressed as a man. And when we do that, my belief is, and even from my practice, because as counselors we use that a lot, and even right now what has kept us going is mindful self-compassion. We are suffering as counselors because we are human beings like anyone else, but we have to treat ourselves with kindness because we are in this business to give hope. And last but not least, we see suffering and do something. So we need to come up with strategies and interventions that are meeting the mental health needs of the day. And I would also encourage men, go out there and get at least one or two people. You don't go looking for solutions. Just tell them how you're feeling and what you're thinking. At least having one or two people, whether it's family or friend or a colleague, helps a lot.
In case there are people who'd like to meet you or to find you so they can have further discussions on this topic, or to just give them assistance in terms of helping them deal with their mental health, how can they reach you?
We are having an app called DocCU that is already in operation. If somebody goes to Google Play Store, you can download DocCU, that is DOC and C and U. It is an app that can help those who like to keep their search for help or health seeking behavior private and confidential. You can get a counselor online at a very affordable fee. And these are the times we are also saying we help people. So kindly also you can visit my YouTube channel. I have given lots of YouTube videos that can give hope, educate on stress, educate on trauma at this particular moment, educate on hope, loss, and grief. And I believe that can help you. And when people also need to reach out to counselors, it is good that even when you just mean when you put something online, kindly when they look for help, because you have already contacted some of us, you can have a way that they can reach out to us. I hope this helps, and God bless you, Jasmine, for a good job you're doing, and the rest of the team. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Susan Gitau, for accepting to be the first guest on my podcast, Mwalimu Kipepeo. Please, guys, follow her on Twitter and YouTube, where she is quite active. Check her out at Dr. Susan Gitau. Let's hear what else happened in history on a day like this. On July 2nd, 2002, 58-year-old millionaire Steve Fawcett completed the world's first solo circumnavigation of the Earth in, get this, a hot air balloon. He piloted the Spirit of Freedom in a flight that lasted 2 weeks and covered more than 19,263 miles. That is approximately 31,000 kilometers. This was actually his sixth attempt. Now you know. Ladies and gentlemen, that's how we wind up this very insightful episode on Mwalimu Kipepeo. I have been your host, Jasmine Wambui. Let's touch base next week with yet another very interesting topic that we have prepared for you. For now, be positive, speak up, and stay safe. Goodbye.